Hello, this is Kay and Kelsey, and welcome to our second episode of That God Chat, where we're going to talk about Samson and Delilah.
Yes, we are. And of course, Kay knows more than I do because she's in Bible school. What exactly are you getting a degree in?
Theology.
Theology, yeah. So she knows a lot more than I do, but I have done some research on this. So I'm not going to feel like a complete imbecile while you know all this amazing stuff. So, you start, and then I'll interject.
Well, the story of Samson is a story of strengths and weaknesses.
Yes, it is.
And do you know what his strengths and weaknesses were?
Well, his strength was his strength.
That's right.
Which, was from not cutting his hair. And his weaknesses were the ladies.
That's right. He did have a wandering eye and lust for women, and he had a hard time telling them no. Samson came from a couple of people who lived in the tribe of Dan, and this is one of the weakest tribes of the 12 tribes of Israel. Say that fast.
Weakest tribes of the 12 tribes. Yes, didn't even get halfway through it.
Yes, and they were being invaded by the Philistines, which were a sea people that were coming across the Mediterranean Sea. So most of the tribe of Dan actually left the area, and there were a few tents left, and that's where Samson came from. His parents were living there, and an angel came to his mother. Do you know about that part?
I do know about that part because that's what I do, the infertility stuff. So his mother is not named in the Bible. You didn't find it? I saw something on some website where they tried to give her a name, taking context clues, but the Bible did not give her a name. So she is just called the wife of Manoah, and she was infertile and more up in the years, as in older, and an angel came to her and told her that she was going to have a baby. And then she told Manoah, right? And then he didn't believe her, so an angel came and showed both of them at the same time and told them that they were going to have a baby, and that's when they believed her.
It's going to be a holy baby, too.
A holy baby.
A Nazarite.
A Nazarite. Ooh, Nazarite. I read about it.
Okay. Do you know what a Nazarite is?
Well, I know Samson was a Nazarite, and obviously that means they're Nazarethian people.
Well, there was a
vow.
vow.
Jesus of Nazareth? Yeah.
Do you know what the vow was?
Well, I know that he was not allowed to cut his hair because that was part of the Nazarite customs, or one of the rules of the Nazarite. And he was...
There were 3.
Yeah, tell me about it.
One was he couldn't cut his hair.
Yeah.
One was he couldn't drink any alcoholic beverages, like fermented drinks.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing was he couldn't eat anything impure by Jewish law.
See, all the other stuff I read today, I didn't see the one about the food.
It's okay.
Yeah.
But do you know what Samson means?
What does Samson mean?
It means sunny.
Oh, yeah, because Delilah means moon or dark. So that's funny.
I didn't know that.
It does, because it's funny with the juxtaposition between, the sun and the moon, how they were complete opposites, and how it was good versus evil.
That's
with
right.
them.
That's right.
So, see, I did learn something.
And he lived near the town of Beth Shemesh. And you know all these towns in the Bible that have Beth in the name?
What does that mean?
House of. So it meant house of sun.
Huh.
So that may have been where his name came from.
Also, something else I read about the name Delilah, it has also been taken after the story of Samson and Delilah. That name started becoming associated with temptress or betrayal. So, don't name your kid Delilah because it means they're a temptress.
It's a pretty name, but
it's really pretty. And the song "Hey There Delilah" is really cute, but that's not good.
Oh my goodness.
That's not good.
So for the first 20 years, his parents did pretty good at keeping the reins on him, but then he started to wander. And he fell in love with a Philistine girl who lived in Timnah, which was nearby. Well, the Philistines are the ones who invaded. And his parents, they were horrified, as you can imagine. This is not a new story. It happens all the time, Romeo and Juliet. And they couldn't do anything to stop him. So they went over to meet the girl's parents. Have you heard about that?
Continue.
Okay. On the way, they passed a vineyard, and Samson was really curious about the grapes, and he leaned in and started sniffing the grapes, and out jumped a lion.
Oh, yeah, about that. I did read that. Yes. Continue.
And he killed the lion.
Yeah. And he didn't tell anybody about it.
No, he didn't.
He didn't brag on himself.
But when they went back the second time to Timnah, they were looking at going to a wedding, which in those days it lasted about 7 days.
My wedding was like 4 hours long, and I was like, no, everybody go away, I'm done.
Yeah, weddings used to last longer. And on the way, he sees that lion carcass, and he's curious. And so what does he have to do? Turn the lion over, and inside was bees and honey, and he eats the honey. Can you believe that?
How odd is that?
Do you think that was pure? It was unclean.
Yeah, like super gross.
A dead carcass. Can you imagine eating out of a dead carcass?
Well, I can't exactly imagine wanting to go find it, much less like touch it and flip it over and eat something out of it. Because
he's a little bit of a rebel.
A lot of bit of a rebel.
And when he got to the wedding feast, you know, today we have bachelor parties. Well, back then, the men would actually host a party with drinking, especially these Philistine people. They would host a party with drinking for their groomsmen. And so that's what he did. And guess what? He drank.
You're not supposed to do that.
And he was a party animal. He was the life of the party. And he teased all the Philistine men with a riddle. Do you know the riddle?
Tell me the riddle. I can answer the riddle.
Well, don't answer.
Okay.
Okay, out of the earth, something to eat. Out of the strong, something sweet.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so, well, this kind of frustrated them. They couldn't answer the riddle. So he went back to his bride, and they continued the celebration. Well, the Philistine men, they went to the bride and said, we're going to kill you and your father and burn down your father's house if you don't find out what the answer to this riddle is. Well, instead of telling him, she starts going, Samson, do you love me? Do you love me, Samson? Can you tell me? And he said, well, why should I tell you? I hadn't even told my parents.
Wow.
I know, that was kind of an insult, wasn't it?
Hello.
They both were immature. And so every night she would ask. And so finally he did tell her. And she told the Philistines. So they came back and said, we know the answer to your riddle. And he said, well, if you hadn't been plowing with my heifer, you wouldn't have known. So he called his fiancée a heifer. What would you have done?
I wouldn't have had a fiance anymore.
Well, he left angry. He was outraged and angry and stormed out. And the tradition of the time is, when you're getting married, if the groom is gone, you marry the best man. And so she did.
That's odd.
I'm glad we don't do that now.
Oh my word, please no.
So when you had to answer to be best man, you had to really think about it, I bet.
For real. Yeah, that's crazy.
So the bride got married, and Samson came back, and guess what? She's married. Oh, so now he's really mad. So he gathers up 400 jackals, which I think were kind of like foxes.
I read this today. I was like, what?
400 tied their tails together. They're probably like wiggling all over the place. He tied their tails together and set them on fire, and they ran through the vineyard, and they ran through the olive trees, and burnt down all the crops. Oh goodness, now how do you think the Philistines are feeling?
It's just
escalating.
Take little foxes. Tie their tails together.
Poor little foxes.
So like, I'm just imagining like fox nunchucks and
Exactly. It's awful. They were just running around.
God, that's weird.
That's horrible.
Like, who would even have that kind of idea? Much less set a poor, pitiful animal on fire.
It's horrible. Philistines were so angry. And they did burn the girl and her dad in his house.
Yep.
They burned it to the ground. So she actually helped them hurt her husband and ended up dying anyway.
They still killed her.
Yeah, so fear was probably her weakness.
Yeah.
She was very young. And then Samson came back, and he's really mad now, and they come after him, and he takes the jawbone of a donkey.
It's an ass.
Okay.
You can say ass. We're talking about the Bible.
Okay. And he kills 1,000 Philistines.
With the jawbone
of a donkey.
Of an ass.
Of an ass.
I made Kay say ass. Oh,
Perspective here.
That's funny.
And the Bible says he was judged for 20 years. What do you think that means?
Well, I'm sure nothing really good came to him during that time.
No. Had to pay for it probably.
Well, I would assume so, because, he's doing everything that he knows he's not supposed to do. I mean, like, if I do something I know I'm not supposed to... When I was younger, if I did something I knew I wasn't supposed to do, then I was punished for it. So, I mean, that would just make sense for him, breaking all of these vows, these sacred vows, that, there had to be consequences.
That's right. So after 20 years, I guess he didn't learn his lesson, because he decided to wander again, and he came across the beautiful Delilah.